Hi, third graders. Today, we're going to talk about an introduction to fractions, specifically understanding unit fractions. So these are our objectives. Third graders need to be able to read, write, and identify unit fractions for halves, thirds, fourths, sixths, and eighths. Third graders also need to be able to show fractions and wholes using fraction models. So there's something to think about. Adrian has a triangle with equal sides. How can he divide this triangle into equal parts? We'll revisit this question after we talk a little bit more about fractions. Try this. Divide a piece of paper into 2 equal parts. What do you call one of those parts? Now divide that same piece of paper into 4 equal parts. What do you call one of those parts? Next, divide that same piece of paper into 8 equal parts. Do you notice a pattern? What do you think? You can use fractions to describe equal parts of a whole. That's what a fraction is. It describes equal parts of one whole. This is a pie. It is one whole pie. Mia cuts the pie into 2 equal parts. Each part is half the pie. You can write half as 1/2. That's the fraction. 1/2 is 1 out of 2 equal parts. Mia cuts the pie further into 4 equal parts. Here's the pie now. Each part is 1/4 of the pie. You can write 1/4 as a fraction. 1/4 is 1 out of 4 equal parts. That's why it's called a fourth. These are the 4 parts. One piece is 1/4. This pie is 2 parts, and one of those parts is 1 out of 2, 1/2. That's how you say it. You can use fractions to describe equal parts of a whole. 1/2 and 1/4, boys and girls, are examples of fractions. A fraction is a number that names equal parts of a whole. A whole describes a complete figure and is equal to 1. Here's some math vocabulary you need to know. The numerator, the top number in a fraction, shows the number of equal parts of the whole that is shaded. 1 part is shaded. The denominator of a fraction shows the number of equal parts the whole is divided into. So this circle, boys and girls, has 2 equal parts. 1 part is shaded. So we say that 1 out of 2 parts is shaded, and we read it as 1/2. The top number in a fraction is the numerator, and the bottom number in a fraction is the denominator. How can you divide this rectangle into 3 equal parts? And what fraction of the rectangle is each part? You can draw a rectangle on a blank piece of paper and try it out. There's more than one way. How can you divide a rectangle into 3 equal parts? And then, what's the name of each part, the fraction name for each part? Let's talk about reading and writing fractions. Boys and girls, third graders need to be able to read fractional parts. So in this model here, this is a fraction model, the whole is divided into 2 parts. 1 part is shaded. The numerator is the part that's shaded. There's 1 part shaded, and there are 2 parts altogether. How do you read this fraction? If you said 1/2, you're right. In this model, there are 3 parts on the whole. There's still a rectangle, but the rectangle is divided into 3 parts. Remember, fractions only name equal parts of a whole. One of the parts is shaded. How do you read this fraction? If you said 1/3, you're right. This model is a rectangle with 4 equal parts. The denominator is the number of total parts in the whole. There are 4 there. 1 part is shaded. How do you read this fraction? If you said 1/4 or 1/4, which is smart, you are right. 1/4 and 1/4 is the same thing. This model shows 6 equal parts. The denominator shows that there are 6 equal parts in this whole. 1 part is shaded. How do you name this fraction? If you said 1/6, you are on a roll. Take a look at this model. This model shows 8 equal parts. 1 part is shaded. Remember, boys and girls, the denominator of a fraction names the number of equal parts in the total. There are 8. 1 part is shaded. How do you name that fraction? If you said 1/8, you are right. Unit fractions name one equal part of a whole. Boys and girls, this is math vocabulary you need to know. A unit fraction names one part of a whole. 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/6, and 1/8 are unit fractions. A unit fraction names just one equal part of a whole thing. This rectangle shows a whole with 2 equal parts. 1 part is red and 1 part is blue. We can say the red part is 1/2 of the whole. The blue part is 1/2 of the whole. The red part and the blue part make one whole. So 1/2 plus another 1/2 make one whole. 1 part plus 1 part equals 2 parts, or 1 whole. Let's go back to the question we started with. Can you draw a triangle on a piece of paper, just like the one Adrian has, and divide the triangle into equal parts? Take a picture of your work and share it with your teacher. See you next time.